Today we're doing a garden tour. Hi everyone, welcome back to the garden. It's been a while and I know that you have just been here last week, but for me it's been a couple of weeks of break from working in the garden, and that's simply because I haven't been in Poland. And it is an important thing that I failed to mention before. This summer I'm kind of sharing my life between two countries. I'm traveling back and forth between Poland and Portugal. I'm coming to Poland for a couple of weeks at the time to spend some time with my friends and family and of course work on this project. And then I'm traveling to Portugal for a couple of weeks. If you notice any drastic changes in the landscape or in the garden, that's probably where they are coming from. And because I haven't been here for a couple of weeks, there's a lot of small jobs to do. Nothing major, kind of garden maintenance, cutting the grass, trimming the bushes, weeding. And I thought it's a good opportunity to give you guys a little bit of a garden tour. This is something that a couple of you requested in the comments. Let me give you a tour while I'm working. And this view, you of course already know. This is how the garden looks like right at the entrance. We have a concrete path running all the way to the house that kind of divides the garden into two halves. And first, let's take a look at the left side. On the left side changed quite a lot since I bought the garden. Firstly, there was a gigantic polytunnel right over there that was housing the previous owner's collection of grapes. Secondly, this space also had my vegetable garden, and I used to love that space, but I'm not growing vegetables in Warsaw anymore. So the beds were replaced by grass, and honestly this space is a little bit empty at the moment. And lastly, when I bought this garden there was no hedge, so the garden didn't have a lot of privacy, and I really wanted it to be more cozy. So I think 4 years ago I planted this hedge and it's growing so nicely, and it's definitely giving me a lot of privacy that I needed. Huh? It looks so good! This is the garden bed that we have planted the last time, and it's definitely very weedy, but it's very lush and green, and I love it. But as you can see, the hedge is quite overgrown and we need to cut the grass, do some weeding and decide on what to do with the field of cosmos that have self-seeded here where I wanted to have grass. So let's do it. First I'm going to trim the hedge, and I'm going to do it with this electric hedge trimmer that looks like a tool of mass destruction and makes me look very badass. Wow, I must say that I'm not a huge fan of using power tools because I'm just afraid that I'm going to hurt myself always. But I used manual shears always before for this job, and this is just so much easier. Oh my god, it's gonna take me like 15 minutes instead of like 3 hours. Since I already have the hedge trimmers out, I think I'm going to give a good trim to this bush behind me as well. Right now it's gigantic and it's blocking the path, so it really has to go. wrong with the mower. It's not working. The engine is working, the blades are turning, but for some reason it's not cutting the grass. I'm actually really shocked about how long did it take, because I was really expecting to do the entire garden today, and I did just this tiny corner in crazy heat, and honestly I'm a little bit dead now. It's just time-consuming activities, so hopefully tomorrow it's going to go faster. But before we go home, let me show you the other side of the garden where we will be working tomorrow. The area on the other side of the entrance is actually one of my favorites because it's very low maintenance and I don't have to do that much work in here, but it's also quite pretty. On the one side we have a big bed full of mostly perennial flowers, and in the back there's an entire row of peonies that look absolutely stunning in June, and we used to have a gigantic apricot tree in here that unfortunately died this year. It was still alive last year. It wasn't doing great, but it was still alive, and this year it looks very much dead. And this area on the other side of the lawn I call the jungle, and it's my absolutely least favorite space in this garden. I hate it. I hate working in it. It's not even that I hate working in it, I just don't work in it. That's how much I dislike it. Any weeding, planting, or any work in this space that has been done in the past 6 years was done by my mom, never by me. I just don't go there. I know that at some point I will have to go there, but I will avoid it as long as possible. The sun is setting and I am exhausted, so let's continue tomorrow. It's so windy today! I hope you can hear me okay. Yesterday you have seen pretty much the entire front of the garden, and right now we are in the back half. The main feature is a really big grape trellis at the very back of the garden. It's made of really sturdy metal, unfortunately at the moment pretty rusty. And it's also not very functional because the grapes actually don't want to climb on that trellis. I'm not yet sure what I'm going to do about it. I might leave it as is and just paint it and make it look better. I might also just decide to take it down. We'll see. There's a lot of concrete in this area. I think in the 70s or 80s there used to be a glass house in here that was taken down, but the foundations are still in here. Almost forgot to show you how well is our grass experiment doing. Just take a look at this. I mean, there are some spots like this one here that you can still feel it's very soft. So there's just probably a lot of stuff composting underneath and the temperature is too high for the grass to survive. But take a look at this spot. Looks absolutely beautiful. And then of course there is the garden house. My best estimate is that this entire building is approximately 30 square meters. We have the main building that's made of concrete, that's kind of like a living space. And then we have a little bit of a workshop shed situation, kind of like a lean-on built next to the house. And then we have a little bit of like a roofed porch in front of the house with a table and a sitting area. But inside the living space is really tiny. It's maybe 15 square meters and it's very basic. There's no bathroom, there's a tiny little kitchenette and one room with sofa, table, etc. And unfortunately, this building has a very long list of issues. They were already there when I was buying the garden, so I knew that the house is not in a great shape. And honestly, a couple of years of me not working on it only made it worse. First of all, the roof. I have no idea what is happening with it. It's not really leaking. I cannot see any water damage inside, but I have to climb up there, see what condition it is in. Right now, it's basically overgrown with wisteria plants. There's also a lot of branches coming from the nearby trees. So this is priority number one. The second issue, the windows. The windows in the entire building are basically falling apart, both in the main living area as well as in the shed. In the shed, I think I might be able to fix them. I'm not sure if the ones in the main living space are even salvageable. Another big issue, there's definitely some kind of wood beetle infestation in the house. You can especially see this in the wood paneling inside. Basically every time you just like knock on the panels, you can see, you know, just little particles of wood dust coming from underneath them. I really hope that the wood beetles didn't make it to the structural parts of the building, but honestly, I just don't know. And then there's just a very, very long list of smaller issues. That the concrete in front of the house is cracked and uneven, the stairs are falling apart, the kitchen has to be completely replaced, so this little garden house basically needs a complete renovation from ground up. And right next to the entrance to the shed, we have the compost area that you already know pretty well from episode 1 of the series. You can actually walk around the house, but the back is very overgrown right now with ivy. This is something we will be tackling very soon. I almost forgot that there's also a basement area in here. But as you can probably tell from the state of those doors, this space is not used very often. I've been there maybe twice. There's actually kind of like 2 zones in that basement, and one of them I have no idea how to enter. And there's a tiny opening in the wall that I would have to like crawl through to get in there. So I think it's safe to say that the basement is a mysterious area, and it should be pretty fun to actually take a look at it at some point of this renovation project. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me on this little garden tour. And yesterday was actually a pretty tough day for me. I spent way too much time in the sun and I was not feeling great. But today I actually had so much fun showing you around, and I hope you enjoyed it as well. Thanks a lot for joining me today. If you would like to follow my renovation journey, please subscribe, turn on the notifications, and I'll see you in the next video.